Welcome to another Tech Tuesday video. Tech Tuesdays are brought to you by NM a professional learning project of Propel. Today's video is part 2 in our Google Gemini series. Today, we will be reviewing how to use Google's AI tool Gemini as an instructional planning tool in your Google Classroom. We will cover how you can use Gemini to create a lesson plan from scratch, how to create a choice board, how to generate text-dependent questions, and how to create a quiz that you can upload directly to your Google Classroom or to Google Forms. You can access Gemini from your Classroom home screen. Go to the main menu and you'll see Gemini still marked as a new feature in Google Classroom. The Gemini dashboard is going to capture all of the activities that are available to you using this tool. Let's look at outlining a lesson plan. Here, I can give Gemini a few prompts and it's going to help me think of objectives, activities, and some assessments for creating my lesson plan. I'm going to say I'm aiming at a 9th grade subject level right now. We're going to do a lesson on US Congress. I'm going to attach the chapter from the textbook that we use in my classroom for this content, and then I'm going to click on Generate Learning Objectives. Once these objectives are generated, I can read through them, and if they match what I want to do with my lesson, what I want to achieve with my students, I can go down and add a little bit more information about my class. This class, I have about 20 students, and it is all online. So I'm going to let Gemini know so that it can cater the lesson more to my classroom environment. Then I'll click Generate. Gemini will go through, it will give me a lesson plan that features an overview, a list of materials and preparation, activities for my students to do, and suggested assessments for this lesson. If you want to take this lesson, you're happy with the activities it gives you, you can simply click Export and move it to a Google Doc where you can quickly edit, take out, add, or change anything you'd like to. If you'd like to tailor this lesson a little bit, Google Gemini gives you a couple options down here at the bottom. You can transform the lesson to incorporate more student-centered engagement. You can modify the lesson with more strategies for ELLs. Other things you can do are ask for all new activities if you don't really like what it's giving you. You could also ask it to give you a more project-based learning approach or a more problem-solving learning approach. Each prompt you give Gemini will help it better craft the lesson to match what you need. If you're not looking for an entire lesson plan and just looking for a few individual activities to incorporate into your Google Classroom or your classroom, Gemini allows you to choose things one by one. One of my favorites to use is the choice board. Here, you can give Gemini the exact same prompts you used for your lesson, incorporate the same kind of materials like the textbook chapter or another resource that you're using, generate learning objectives just like we did with the lesson. But now it's going to generate a choice board for students that has a few different activities that they can choose from for their own practice and study. This can be used either by students who can choose to do each of these or by you as an instructor. Maybe you're just looking for one activity for today's class, and this allows you to get some ideas for what that activity might be. If you want to mix up the options, you can go up here and edit and click regenerate, and it's going to give you some different ideas. You can also use the edit details button to change up the target grade or to tailor your objectives if the activities it's giving you aren't quite what you're looking for. Another useful tool is the Generate Text-Dependent Questions tool. This is a great way to provide your students practice with the types of questions that they're likely to see on a high school equivalency exam, such as the HiSET or the GED exam. I'm going to prompt Gemini similarly to the way I did when I was doing a lesson plan or a choice board, but I'm going to give it a little bit different information this time. I'm going to ask it to give me 5 questions. I'm going to make them multiple choice since that's what they're most likely to see on the HSE exam. And for this one, let's practice skills like making inferences and evaluating arguments. To provide the text, I'm going to upload our textbook chapter from Drive. And then I'm going to ask Gemini to generate the questions. Gemini will move through the text that I've attached, and it will give me a list of questions that are going to be similar to those text-based questions that we see a lot on standardized tests. Of course, Gemini is a generative AI tool like many others, and it can make mistakes. So make sure you read through your questions and ensure that it is accurately reflecting the text and accurately reflecting the way that we use test language whenever we're writing these questions. If you like what it's given you, you can add this directly to class by saying add to class here, and you can export it as either a form or a doc. Another similar tool available is the Generate a Quiz tool. Here, I'm going to give it almost the exact same prompts as I did before. Ask it to generate learning objectives. If I'm happy with these objectives, I'm going to tell it a type of question. Let's do this one as true or false. And it's going to generate a short quiz for me to incorporate in my classroom or in Google Class. Of course, as before, check and make sure that everything is accurate. If you want to tailor anything, you can format the quiz differently, you can simplify the sentence structure, or you can modify with other prompts. When it comes to exporting, it gives you options to export to forms or directly to class. One warning I will say is I would recommend exporting to forms first and then adding to your Google Classroom, simply because if you add directly to class, it's going to title the assignment or the quiz whatever Gemini did the prompt as. So say, for example, you have the grade level on there, it's going to title it with the grade level. For some students, this may be just fine. For others, you may want to avoid associating content with those specific grade levels, but it's up to you.